to make one. So like that, I will be creating patterns around the circle. Okay. Now here, if you notice, so that we have a lot of space here for me to just close this circle like that. So what I'll do is I'll be making a similar pattern here like this. Now again, I will be closing this circle. So now, depending on the size of circle, the art that you are working on, we can always use a compass to close this. Like fix your pen on the compass and we can close this circle. Okay. Now coming to the final circle, what I'll be doing is I'll be creating this second pattern here. I'll take two blocks and creating one top. So there are a lot of technical details that you will understand if when we make a complete mandala from scratch. So there are certain mathematics that is involved. There are certain logics that are there. Just a baseline understanding of how things will work and things will not work. So the confidence that you will get to straight away draw with pens. A lot of my students have, they were hesitant in starting like making these patterns straight away with pen. So they preferred making it with a pencil first, and in case they make some mistake and then they erase it and then make it with a pen. That is also completely fine. That confidence you will get when you understand the baseline rules of how to make this art form. So there is no right and wrong way, but there are certain things that if you keep in mind, the picture that you have in mind that you want to put on the paper, so that will get translated very easily. Okay. So now we have kind of filled the 4 circles with patterns. Now on the 4th circle, I want to like create more detailing. So I'll fit in one more pattern here. So this will be our basic patterns that we do. Coming to the fillers, so I'll use this first filler that I was asked to repeat. Here, what I'll do is basically, since the area here is very less to fill in with anything, what I'll do is I'll just color this entire thing with ink. Okay. I want you to see how the effect that it has now. Okay. And the effect it has after filling. So you will understand what important role does fillers play and how they basically, give depth to your work. Like this. Okay. So it looks more finished. It looks more complete after using fillers. And to fill in this detail, so what I'll do is I'll just fill it with lines. Okay. Just to give it a flower look. Coming to the second one, what I'm going to do is I will be again closing the circle first. And I'll fill this space with a circle. Okay. And here I'll be just repeating these. This pattern just to give a detailing. So when we use colors or when we use to fill this gap, so these double lines basically enhance the shape of the design of the pattern that you have put in. Okay. Like this, we'll be coloring entire space. And then here, what I'm doing is I'm just drawing these lines, just marking the center of this pattern and using slanting lines to fill up the space. Okay. If someone is having any difficulty, I would request you to just write it down on the chat so that I can come back to those questions. For now, I'm just moving to the next pattern. Now here, what I'm going to do is, I will again repeat this pattern, okay, in the center line. So now here is when you will understand why grids are important. So this center of this entire pattern is kind of marked, okay, for all of them. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to create a, I hope some of you are at least doing it with me, so you'll understand the complexity of this entire process. Okay, so this is one. There are multiple ways in which you can fill up a motif, and depending on what kind of, like, there are patterns which you will see yourself going back to, like that is your pattern, not something that you've created probably, or something that you have improvised for yourself, which you keep going back to. So things like those patterns are what add that characteristic to your mandalas. When you make a mandala, the people who are actually making with me, they will understand the, like, when you are so engrossed in creation of this pattern, in repeating these patterns over the entire circle, and thinking about how to complete that particular moment, you will realize that you will not like recognize, or you will not realize how much time has already gone. So that's the meaning of the meditative form that I refer to, because I feel that this art form has so much detailing that you can get into. There is so much process, not process exactly, but there's so much that you can give into this art form that it takes away a lot of your worries. It doesn't give you time to think about, things that you don't want to think about. So that is one of the benefits that I feel that this art form gives to people. So I've used like lines form. So this circle, I'm basically trying to tell you how we can use lines and curves to create a shape. Okay. Coming to the the last pattern, I'll be using a motif like this. Okay. There is a huge list of patterns and the pattern combinations that we can use during making a mandala. Just make sure, like, see here only I have shown you 3 variations of how you can fill up the a pattern. Okay, so if you wanted to be used for a purpose of coloring, you can use it, in a simpler, not so complex ways. If you want to use it for creating just a black and white mandala, so then you can probably put in more details per pattern. So like that, we can always decide how you want your end product to look like. So that will play a major role in how you will define the patterns and how you use it to fill the space. Okay. Now coming to the final, this one, what I'm doing is I will be just creating one similar pattern, but not very close by, closer to these, a small triangle, and I'll be filling it up with is this final circle. And I don't, so my mandala end product will look like this. So it will not be a definite circle, but it will have its ups and downs, but it will also have that generic pattern of being a circle. But again, that is completely your choice. What you can also do is, if you have that circle, you can always use it as a filler. So here I can probably just mark the circle and, create it with lines. like this. So it can be used as, you can use that if you want it to be a fine circle around, like a round perfect circle. So you can always use it with fillers. So there are a lot of combinations, a lot of understanding that needs to go, and which is not very difficult to get also. So it is something that once you practice or once we make these mandalas together, there are a lot of things which keep coming up. So your doubts will be, cleared there and then. So this is what we will be able to, understand, like what kind of mandalas you want. So I like to show you a few of what I make. There you'll see a variety. So this is something that I've made along with an acrylic painting. This is something which has a saying on it. This is a intricate black and white mandala, which has a lot of detailing, a lot of depth to it. This is what we do for coloring. If you want to use it as a coloring mandala, or if you want to make a mandala which is, this gives the patterns and we color it later. So similarly, depending on what medium you want to do it in. Some beautiful gift items can also be made using this. So a lot of ideas, there are a lot of themes, there are a lot of surfaces that we work on, which can turn into products. So yeah, so this is the basics of what a mandala is, how it will, how to make a basic mandala.